Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Proper football is back. Hallelujah. I'm Bruce Millington. Welcome along to the Racing Post Football Postcast. I'm joined in the studio by my Racing Post sport colleagues, Mark Langdon and James Milton. And on the line in Ireland, we've got Ed Quigley, the master odds compiler from Paddy Power. 4 live Premier League games to get stuck into. There's also a full Premier League programme next midweek, which is fantastic. We'll look down the divisions at where the value lies. You could win a free £25 or €25 bet from Paddy Power. But first of all, we'll do 6 questions, 2 each for the guys, and then they get to answer the one that they wish they'd been asked. OK, we'll start with you, James Milton. What did we learn about England last week? Not England, the country, I don't have any Brexit views, but the football team.
That's a very good question, Bruce. I should declare first, I didn't actually see the Germany game. I did watch the Lithuania game. I probably, from what I hear, I got that the wrong way round. That people were
I didn't watch either, so I haven't got a clue. I can't help you.
You're probably shrewder. People were raving about England in their magnificent friendly defeat in Germany
when we thrashed them 0-1.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the qualifier was, you know, as you'd expect, really, they ground it out and did a job. But I would say, obviously, Gareth Southgate, he played the 3 at the back in Germany, and that seemed to work out okay. And he's always come across as an intelligent guy. You know, he maybe does realise that in these kind of qualifying campaigns, and the big friendlies, you know, he has got the opportunity to experiment a little. I think he comes into the job with a fair bit of goodwill behind him, and so hopefully we can see a few more intriguing tactical tweaks and things. And actually, I'm quite pleased for Jermaine Defoe. Not that I'm sure he won't mind whether I was pleased for him or not.
I think he will. He's a nice guy, isn't he? I think the stuff he does with little Bradley is really nice, and I think everyone admires him greatly.
Yeah.
So
no, and actually, just in a footballing
nice.
sense, you just love to see a good old-fashioned finisher, don't you?
Yeah, I agree with that. OK, Mark, what did we learn about the destiny of the 2018 World Cup?
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of South America, absolutely incredible scenes, really, with Argentina, struggling to qualify now, Bruce. They're down into the playoff position at the moment. Obviously, Lionel Messi is banned. I mean, they look absolutely awful.
What did he do to get a ban?
He abused the linesman, so he fully deserved.
That's not like him, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, quite strong language as well. I mean,
Christ, it must have been. I mean, they F and Jeff at the linesman over here and don't even get a yellow card. What did he do?
I mean, I just hope that it sort of carries on, actually, and they just all get 3-4 match bans, and then they'll soon stop it. But Brazil, on the other hand, look very strong at the moment. Definitely South America's top dogs. They've built a good team there, which is not necessarily something you've always said about Brazil, but got some young players coming through as well. Casemiro of Real Madrid is sitting just in front of the defence. You've got Firmino, Coutinho, Neymar is sort of the front three while Jesus is out. So they probably enhance their claims. Argentina look a long way off at the moment.
What's the latest betting, Ed?
OK, so Germany are still 5s, they're 5-1. Brazil are 8-1. Spain 8s as well. Argentina are 9s. France are 11s. That Argentina is a massive lay, by the way. They might even get there. Belgium 20s. Italy 20s. England 22s. Portugal 25s. Colombia 33s. And Russia 40s.
Right, quick one, lads. One each. Free £10 bet on the World Cup. Who are you going for? Mark?
I'd go for France at the moment.
Milts?
Croatia.
And Teddy?
I think Brazil. I agree with Mark, what he said there a second ago. I just think they look very good at the minute.
Where are you getting Croatia from? Weren't they getting beaten by Estonia last time?
That was a reserve.
Oh, was it? Yeah. OK, fair enough. All right, Ed, question for you. Where do you stand on the he's not that kind of player argument?
I don't know where I stand on it, but obviously that tackle last week that came up a lot post Friday night in the Aviva. Yeah, I don't know, Taylor apparently has some historically dirty tackles from back in the day. But, yeah, no, it was a very poor tackle. And just alluding to what we said there a second ago about Messi and the 4-game ban he got, if he's getting a 4-game ban for effing and blinding at a referee, like, Taylor should be getting a 10-game ban, really, like, or something like that. Like, because, like, I mean, like, Seamus Coleman's he's gonna almost certainly miss out on a big move now. He's being linked with, like, United and big club City even as well. He's not going to play for the rest of the campaign for Ireland or Everton and possibly a good chunk of next season. So yeah, I don't know where I stand on he's not that kind of player thing, because like Bale obviously had a pretty poor tackle as well in the game. But I like, to be fair, I don't think Bale is a bad bone in his body, to be fair. But like, they were just both very, very poor challenges.
Mind you, Bale's got sent off for effing and blinding this season, hasn't he, Mark? Do you remember that?
Yeah, he's got a red card.
That was the game when I sold the Real Madrid. No, I bought the Real Madrid Performance Index, and it all went. It's one of the worst things that's ever happened to me. So he is, as far as I'm concerned, Bale is becoming that kind of player. James Milton, we touched earlier on the fact that there is a full midweek programme next week of Premier League matches. Have you had a chance to glance through and pick out a juicy price?
I've had a little, and yeah, I mean, the home specialist Burnley against Stoke, I think around 6-4. I really like the Clarets there. I mean, Stoke are only 4 points above them in the table. Burnley have won 5 of their last 6 at home. The one exception was a 1-1 draw with Chelsea, so that's not too shabby either. And
okie doke, that'll do. Burnley at 6-4. Mark, video refereeing, a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm against it. Really, Bruce, I have to say. I agree with what you said about, some offside decisions you will be able to come back on and others you won't. But I was reading the words of a former French referee who said, at the moment, it looks okay and is working quite well because referees and linesmen are reffing the games like they normally would. When video ref becomes in, they'll stop giving decisions because they'll think, it can go back to the video ref. That's what's happened in cricket,
exactly,
and also in rugby league. And you're going to get 8-10 decisions like this all the time because. And that to me is when it becomes a big issue, when you are getting 10 minutes of injury time. So I agreed with the French arbiter there, and Griezmann said as well that it's just taken away the fun of scoring. I mean, he would say that he was the one that got his goal got chalked off, but he said, look, you won't be able to celebrate. You'll be waiting a minute, and then by that time you won't celebrate. You just run back to the centre circle. So,
and more importantly, the fans won't be able to celebrate. I mean, that's the key
you're waiting,
thing,
and I just think that if we just accept that referees occasionally make the odd mistake but get about 90% right, I think there was a stat going around that linesmen get 5% of offside decisions wrong. I mean, that's
almost impossible, isn't it? That's so good, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, it was sort of written as if that's why we need video technology. I mean, I couldn't believe that they're that high. That they get right. I mean, I just think that football's fine as it is. Survived over 100 years. No need to change.
Well said, Mark. Absolutely superb. Ed, Quigley, final one for you. Which 4 teams will qualify for the Champions League next season by finishing in the top 4? Obviously, United might win the Europa League. The current prices there are like Tottenham are 1-7 for top 4 finish. City, this is similar or same, exactly 1-7. Liverpool 4-9, United 6-4, Arsenal 3-1, and Everton 55-1. Yeah, I think Tottenham and City are certs. Obviously Chelsea, we're not even offering a price on them anymore. And then I think Liverpool will get home. Like, I think if you remember the start of the season, like Liverpool played a lot of away games at the start of the season because they had to because the Kop was because Anfield was being refurbished, and so they have a lash of home games coming now. Or more home games than most anyway. So yeah, I think it'll be them 4. A lash of home games. I love that. That's a great word. James, which question would you like to answer?
I'm going to take video replays as well. Actually, I'm agreeing with both you and Mark on this one. And as Mark says, in cricket, you see kind of run-outs where the guy's either out or in by kind of 3 yards, and the umpire still goes upstairs.
They've just become clothes sources for the bowlers' equipment they don't want to wear when they're bowling.
And the other thing with football is, it's such a kind of nuanced game, isn't it? So it's difficult to actually say, okay, well, where do we take the replay from? And, you hear managers kind of complaining about a goal they've conceded, and they say, well, there was a foul in the build-up kind of 45 seconds earlier. It's not going to end people whinging about referees. They're just going to whinge about the video referees as well.
Well said, James. I'm glad we're all agreed on that. Excellent. Mark, what's your question?
I'm gonna. I'll take the England one just so I can disagree because it's been quite friendly so far, isn't it? I mean, I don't agree with the recall for Jermaine Defoe. I wasn't overly impressed with him scoring because that's just going to increase the likelihood of him going. And I mean, that was the only thing he did in that Lithuania game. And I think that England should be looking to build their team around their best players, which is Raheem Sterling, Dele Alli, Adam Lallana. And I thought that they played so much better. Sterling wasn't playing, but the other two played so much better with an unselfish forward in Vardy, making different runs, dragging centre-backs away. Defoe did score the one chance he was given, but Dele Alli would have tapped it in anyways. I mean, I don't think Defoe, there's a reason why he's played in unsuccessful teams for 15 years. Ross McCormack's pretty similar in the Championship, and this season he's not been scoring, but he always seems to score a lot of goals himself. But the team actually doesn't do as well. You look at the Premier League: Costa, Kane, very unselfish forwards. Man City prefer Jesus because he's that way inclined. Probably the only one that's got a selfish forward of the big teams is Ibrahimovic, but he delivers a lot more goals. So I think if you are going to be that type of striker, you've got to be getting 20, 25. I don't think Defoe sort of reaches those levels.
Fair enough. Okay, jolly good. Ed Quigley, which one do you want to answer?
Yeah, I'll just take the World Cup one there again. I know I've obviously said Brazil already, but just that, right now, if I was to have a punt and tie up my money for the next 15 months or so.
It's not long now, is it? 15 months, blimey.
Yeah, it's not too far away anyway, yeah. I mean, you could back Brazil, France and Spain, and they will all shorten. Like, you'll definitely be in the money come next June, pretty off, because they've all essentially qualified already. Just on Brazil as well, like their new manager, the lad who took over from Dunga, Tite, I think is his name. Like he won the lot with Corinthians, the Copa Libertadores, their Brazilian Serie A as well. He's like they had issues under Dunga because I don't know, the player, there was a lot of in-house politics I think with Dunga, but he's just brought the squad together again. That's what I'm hearing anyway. And David Luiz isn't even getting in the squad now to mind the team these days because he plays a flat back four. And yeah, I just think he's even got Paulinho getting hat-tricks against Uruguay away, for Christ's sake. So yeah, I mean, I think that 8th that's gonna be well shorter come next June.
Have you got a massive prize team for a debate? You've already gone for Croatia, James, so you've played your long shot card. Mark, have you got a massive prize?
Croatia would be my long shot one as well. I mean, I don't think they were that far away from winning the Euros. They just very, very tight last 16 game. But they're qualifying well again. Got a lot of good players.
What price are they, Ed?
Croatia are 33s.
33s, and have you got a long shot for us, Ed?
Well, I remember I tipped up Algeria here a couple of months ago.
Oh, you did? So you did?
They're not even going to qualify now, I don't think. So, I don't know, probably I might have a few quid on a Colombia or something like that come closer to time. They're currently 33s,
We haven't identified the pseudo-Shrewdy's choice yet, have we? Well, certainly not Croatia, because I'm not going to say your pseudo-Shrewdy. That's the Shrewdy's long shot.
Could Serbia become it? Could Serbia become it? I mean,
I think they were it about. They were it in 1990.
Poland maybe. Poland weren't that far away at the Euros, were they? And they've got Lewandowski.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll be back and looking at the first of the weekend games. Liverpool v Everton next.
Here's Paddy's latest offer. It's 2 up, you win. We'll pay out immediately if the team you back goes 2 goals up. Available in all Premier League and La Liga matches. Not available in shops. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
OK, a welcome return to Premier League football this weekend. It is uninterrupted now between now and the end of the season when we find out who wins the title, who qualifies for the Champions League, who goes down. And a game that will have some bearing on the second point there is the Scouse derby at 12:30. Liverpool v Everton, red and blue, scousily mixing it together on the terraces in a friendly way. But not very friendly on the pitch. 21 red cards in the last 49 Premier League games between the sides. As our stats guru Kevin Pulliam will tell you, it is the most dirty Premier League fixture there is. How do you bet, Paddy Power, on who's going to emerge victorious?
Okay, so Liverpool are 7-10, having opened up 4-6, slight drift in them. The draw is 13-5, and Everton are 4-1.
And James kicks off. What's going to happen?
I think it's a really interesting game, actually. In the past few seasons, Everton have kind of come into these games quite often in poor shape, but obviously they've been playing very well, getting some great results. The only concern for them is now some significant injuries. Obviously, Seamus Coleman we've mentioned I think Schneiderlin could be out as well. And James McCarthy. And their away form is nowhere near as good as their form at Goodison. I think they won 10 games at home and only 4 away. And Liverpool, as we've mentioned many times on this pod this season, they're just so good in these big games against the top 7. They're unbeaten in 11. I'm blathering now because I'm going to go for a 2-1 Liverpool win, but not with a great deal of confidence. But I think it'll be a very interesting game.
Okay, Lango.
Yeah, I was looking at both teams to score. It's happened in 71%, 10 of 14 Liverpool home games, and you're getting a better than that in the odds sort of for both teams to score. Liverpool's defence is still the Achilles heel for them. I mean, even against Burnley the other week at home, they were really poor in that game. Were much better against Manchester City in a game that could have finished about 5-5, that finished 1-1. Everton, I'm on Lukaku for the Golden Boot, but I'm not always impressed by him, but he's definitely getting better, no doubt about that. Scored a brilliant goal for Belgium in midweek, and I mean, if he can get any kind of service up to him, then he's going to cause Liverpool problems. I'm swerving that the match betting looks about right to me. 2-1 Liverpool, that seems a decent runner.
And a bit of BTTS,
yeah, both teams to score would be the main bet.
What price out of the lads' fancies? Both teams to score on a 2-1 Liverpool win.
Okay, so both teams to score is 4-6, and the 2-1 victory to Liverpool is 7-1.
Okay, and Ed, what do you think punters should do here?
Yeah, like Everton haven't won a derby since 2010. To be fair, both the lads have covered most of my points here. Like Liverpool, obviously, have a pretty formidable home record this season. 3 draws only at home, and they were to United, West Ham and Chelsea, and 1 defeat to Swansea. Everton, obviously, their recent form has been very good. But again, as James said, like most of it's come from their home fixtures at Goodison. I think Liverpool will win this just because obviously Everton have to shuffle their backline a bit. I think Funes Mori might be a doubt as well, so they'll even have less depth on the bench, and I'd say Liverpool's pace could expose Jags and Ashley Williams. Just one other thing as well, Anthony Taylor is officiating this game. He's handed out the second most red cards this season, 4 in 23 games, and he's clocked up 97 yellow cards in those 23 games, and that's an average of 4.2 yellow cards per game. We've got over 40 points, which will be, 4.2, we'll click the bet there. Over 40 points is available at evens.
Blimey, that sounds very tasty.
Yeah, that sounds massive to me as well. I think there's something off there, but anyway. And a red card in the match is 92 as well, which sounds
92?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah, no, it is, I'm telling you. It is, but,
you're the odds compile of Paddy Power.
This sounds big. Well, one of the lads did this yesterday now, but I was just checking the site there this morning, but it sounds pretty big to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Blimey, normally very sort of even-natured game you'd expect to get 92 5-1. Yeah, they sound very interesting.
I thought it'd be closer to 5-2 myself, like, you know what I mean? The red card or whatever.
Excellent, interesting stuff, Ed. Right, well, at 5:30, it's Southampton v Bournemouth. I've got no idea which coast these two are sitting on, but I'm sure we might hear mention of it once or twice in the build-up to the game. Southampton won 5 of the last 6 meetings between the sides. I should imagine that dates back to about 1934, given they've all been in different divisions. But anyway, it'll be a very interesting game. I'm sure they'll knock it about beautifully. And Southampton, I guess, are pretty short favourites, are they, Ed?
Yeah, they're 8-13. The draw is 14-5, and Bournemouth are 9-2.
Okay, James, got a bet for us?
I have. Yeah, we've got to whip up some kind of frenzy. This must be an artificial rivalry, is it, down on the south coast?
South, is it? Okay,
the south coast. I can confirm that. Southampton have been, at these kind of prices, they've been pretty expensive to follow this season. They've failed to win 7 of their 12 home games, and Bournemouth kind of stopped the rot. They looked as though they were in trouble until couple of weeks ago and picked up, obviously drew in that feisty draw at Old Trafford, and then a couple of home wins over West Ham and Swansea. And Josh King's been at the heart of all of that. He's scored 6 goals in 6 games since Callum Wilson was ruled out for the season. He's got 5 in his last 5 away, and I think he's a tasty anytime goal scorer. I think around the 3-1 mark. I mean, Southampton are, so much of their recent success has been based on not giving anything away and keeping it tight. They've had a few injuries in defence. They've been conceding bundles of goals. I mean, they lost 5-0 to Arsenal in the Cup, obviously with a much-changed team. Conceded 2 to Swansea, 3 to West Ham, lost 3-2 in the League Cup final to Manchester United. 4-3 they won at Watford and then conceded another 2 at Tottenham. So, they are giving up chances, and I think if Bournemouth do score, then Josh King's got a great chance of being the man.
You've got a very gentle way of persuading me. When we do the racing postcast, Paul Keeley just grabs you by the lapels and basically yells his case in your face, and you think, yeah, I've got to back that. But in a much more subtle way, you're equally compelling. So King at 3-1 any time, that sounds good. Mark, what do you like here?
Yeah, for all the reasons there that James mentioned about the sort of defensive deficiencies in Southampton, I was just looking double chance, Bournemouth or the draw. Without Van Dijk, that back four just doesn't really inspire confidence. Stevens and Yoshida have been playing there at the heart. It's a lot of work for Romeo to do in front of them. He does it very well. But they have been conceding a lot of goals. Forster seems to be getting worse as well in goal. I don't know if that's any coincidence.
Are you not a fan, Mark?
Well, I just think he's very inconsistent. He seems to play brilliantly against Arsenal, but he has he makes a lot of sort of errors as well. So I'm not a huge fan of him. I thought
the free kick in the League Cup final.
Yeah,
I thought he went down really slowly for that. It was weird.
He is. I mean, Butland, assuming he comes back from injury, is a much better, long-term challenger to Joe Hart. And Bournemouth, they looked like relegation fodder a while back, but that feisty draw that James mentioned, I was really impressed with the way that they did fight in that game, because they were too easy to play against. And I wonder whether Eddie Howe had sort of wound them up to a point of, let's get stuck into United. It worked quite well. Obviously, they got the draw with the 10 men, limited Swansea to one shot on target in their last game. I think they can avoid defeat here, yeah.
Righty-ho. Ed, what do you fancy?
Yeah, I agree entirely with Mark there. I just couldn't be having Southampton at 8-13. I know they're obviously very highly rated in Asia, and that's why their price is. But I mean, yeah, they're missing. Obviously, they've been missing Van Dijk the last few weeks, and Gabbiadini's out now as well, and obviously Austin hasn't been around either. So just I know they rely on Nathan Redmond then for goals, kind of, but he's just not a proven goal scorer for me yet. Anyway, Bournemouth do have doubts over Harry Arter and Junior Stanislas as well. I mean, Southampton overall have a pretty poor home record this season. They've only won 5 of 12. You definitely wouldn't have made money backing them this season at home, I don't think. And Bournemouth's away form is obviously pretty poor as well. They've only won 2 of 14. But same as Mark. He said double chance. I've +1 here. It's the same price as 5-4. Same bet essentially.
Excellent. Okay, well, let's get the best bets for Saturday.
This will not be beaten.
Thank you very much, Steve. And don't forget, talking to Steve Palmer, we've got the Masters next week, and there will be a Masters Postcast, get on brand, out next Wednesday. So listen out for that. Right, James, your best bet?
I'm going for Hull to beat West Ham in the Premier League. Tom Huddleston suspended for Hull, which is a blow. He was sent off at Everton last time out, but their home form has just been so good under Marco Silva. 1-5 and drawn 1 in all competitions. West Ham have got some big potential absentees as well. Obiang, Reed, Antonio, and you just don't really trust the Hammers. Conceded 8 times in their last 3 games. Lost
uncertainty about the Gaffer's future.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think Hull, are still scrapping for their lives down there.
Righty-ho, Mark.
Stevenage to beat Barnet at home. Paddy Power are shortest in the world on this one, but I fully agree with their odds compilers. Stevenage are 1-7 in a row at home. They're 11 points better off than Barnet in the table. I think the reason for the fact that they're the price is that on the shot on target stats, Stevenage and Barnet are roughly the same ability, but a lot of Barnet's good stuff was done, way back earlier on in the season. A lot of Stevenage's bad stuff was earlier on in the season. They're 2 teams heading in very different directions. But Barnet last away game lost to Notts County, despite the fact County played with 10 men for 80 minutes. Stevenage are going very well at the moment. Outperformed odds again last week, even though they didn't beat Cambridge. They were outsiders there. It was a very good point for them, and they kept another clean sheet. That was the issue earlier on. They're getting better defensively. They've got goals up front. Very surprised some firms are odds against.
Oh, excellent. Okay, and Ed, what's your nap?
Yeah, I'm going to America for mine. Seattle Sounders at 8-13 to beat Atlanta United. Seattle at 8-13 just looks massive to me at home to a new franchise. There's massive home bias in the MLS as well. Atlanta have started very well for a new franchise. They've won 2, lost 1, and they've scored 11 goals in 3 games. But 6 of them came against Minnesota, who are absolutely hopeless new franchise over there too. And the lad who's banging in all the goals is a guy called Joseph Martinez, and he plays for Venezuela, and he actually got injured during the week. This price will definitely contract. Seattle at 8-13 is the bet here, and like I tip up -1 as well at 9-5, but I've had a pretty ropey time on best bet of the day, so I'll just go with the Seattle at 8-13.
Are you Paddy Power's designated US expert, Ed?
There'll be a few of us that have an interest in it, because it's actually an exciting enough league, I think. There's goals galore in it, like, you know. The
one game I watched, the last game I watched, was on a pitch that seemed to be about 20 yards wide. I think was it a New York franchise? I can't remember, but it was the narrowest.
Oh yeah, it could be New York
pitch.
City, is it?
It was weird. It really was very, very, very strange. But see, what are Seattle Sounders? Are they?
Seattle Sounders,
Seattle Sounders, OK. Don't put the Seahawks down. You'll get a quizzical look from the lady behind the betting shop counter. I'm going to go for Man United versus West Brom under 2.5. I think Man U will scrape a dour 1-0 or 2-0. OK, then, competition time every week. Our sponsors, Paddy Power, give you the chance to win a free £25 or €25 bet. The competition on the there's competitions on the Racing Review Show on Monday and here on Thursday. All you've got to do to win this week is to tell us who scored England's first goal in their 2-0 win over Lithuania on Sunday. If you know, then tweet your answer with the hashtag Postcast, and one of you will win next week. Your free bet will be accredited to your Paddy Power account, so you do need an account. And drumroll, the winner last week was Phil Hume from Worksop. So I was going to say workshop, but Worksop. So well done, Phil. A free bet will be added to your Paddy Power account. OK, let's look at the Sunday games next.
Here's Paddy's latest offer. It's 2 up, you win. We'll pay out immediately if the team you back goes 2 goals up. Available in all Premier League and La Liga matches. Not available in shops. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Hi there, Bruce Millington, James Milton, Mark Langdon and Paddy Power's Ed Quigley. Looking ahead to 2 very interesting Premier League games on Sunday. First of all, at 1:30, we've got Swansea versus Middlesbrough, a game that has all sorts of importance for the ongoing relegation battle. Swansea fighting for their lives. Middlesbrough cannot find the net, failed to score in 6 of their last 7 away games. So what are you expecting to happen here, James Milton?
I am going to be counterintuitive here and say both teams to score, actually. I mean, you know, as that stat suggests, evens is not usually a tempting price on this market when Middlesbrough are involved.
You're going to have to be very persuasive here, because evens both teams to score in this. Your starting point is absolutely no chance.
They've scored 8 times in 14 away games, which is utterly hopeless. But, you know, at desperate times, they have to be more positive now. They sent on Rudy Gestede as a substitute at Man United just to give Alvaro Negredo one friendly face within about 40 yards of him, and it kind of worked. They shut the ball into him, and they got a consolation goal. And they just have to take a more positive approach. I mean, Negredo's had a tough season up there on his own.
Is Steve Agnew naturally more attack-minded, would you say?
He said he's going to be. I don't know if he will.
I don't think he has an option really. And you know, this role it's a bit of a free hit, isn't it? You know, the fans aren't going to mind too much if they're a bit dodgy at the back, just as long as even a consolation goal against United was a cause for great celebration for them. But with Swansea as well, I mean, their games tend to be pretty open. Both teams have scored copped in 6 of their last 8, and I think it's desperate times, as I mentioned.
You've definitely convinced me. Well done, James. Did it again. Mark, what do you think will happen? 0-0?
No. Yeah, Swansea to 0. I think Swansea will win. I mean, I've been championing Middlesbrough's cause for certainly in the first half of the season, but things have definitely gone sour for a while there. I'm amazed they left it as long with Karanka, because there were obviously issues. You can't be that bad for that long.
Too much loyalty in football, isn't there? We're always saying.
I mean, afterwards, Steve Gibson said, "Well, Karanka was tired." I mean, if he was tired, he should have gone, a while back, so that they could have got somebody else in to. They look like they're just drifting towards relegation. For a team that battled so hard to get back, to just give it up so easily just stinks, really. But they've only scored 2 Premier League goals in 2017. Negredo's last goal from open play was against Swansea, actually, in December before Christmas. Swansea not been great away from home in the last couple, but before that, they looked like they turned the corner against Leicester. They were very good against Burnley, even though they left it late to win. And I think they have got attacking intent in their team, and that will be the difference.
Okay, both teams to score for James, Swansea to win for Mark. How do you bet on them? And then tell us what you think will happen, Ed.
Okay, so both teams scores evens, and Swansea are evens as well. The draw's 12-5 and Borough 11-4. Yeah, I kind of agree with both the lads as well. I think despite the fact the game is pitched with a low goal expectancy, I mean the under 2.5 is 8-13. I don't think the draw, it definitely doesn't suit Middlesbrough anyway. I mean Swansea might be happy enough with it, but are content with it anyway at the very least. So yeah, Borough really need to go for it. James has kind of persuaded me there now as well to get back to both teams to score evens. But I tell you what, I'll get a combination of the two. I'm thinking now, because I do fancy Swansea as well to win this. I think evens looks fair price. So results and both teams to score is 7-2. And because Borough really do have to go for it.
Like, what? Swansea to win and both teams to score 7-2. Excellent. We've got a bet. Have you got time to quickly navigate your way to the latest relegation market there, Ed, so we can find out who? I guess Sunderland are pretty much done, aren't they? Go on, what have we got?
Sunderland are done, they're 18s on. Middlesbrough 2-9, Hull 1-2, Palace 3-1. I mean, just on Palace, like I was reading there yesterday, I actually didn't realise their fixture
it's horrible.
Is so hard. It's like you've got to play the top 6, and then you have to play 2 relegation candidates. I think it's Hull is one of them.
We're a long way from done. Do you know what, Ed? Palace, in the last 45 days, how many games do you think we've played?
Oh, Jesus.
45 days.
4 or something, I don't know.
3 is the correct answer. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. And then they're going to come thick and fast. But you're absolutely right there. I know those 2 wins have obviously buoyed the Eagles, but they have got a real bastard fixture list for sure. Yeah,
like that could be a back to lay kind of. You could back Palace at 3s and it probably will shorten. But I don't know. Then Sam's got Sunderland and stuff out of bigger problems. But Swansea are also 3-1. Then Watford 14s, Burnley 18s, Leicester 25s, and West Ham and Bournemouth are 40s.
Any value there, lads?
No, I'm struggling to see any of them getting out of it now. I mean, Palace have got a £20 million centre back playing for them, haven't they? In Sacco,
he's good. He's absolutely
he
brilliant.
Would be playing for Liverpool.
Liverpool should use him. Quite good
Klopp,
for them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Klopp though. I mean, if he's had a row with him and he doesn't want him around, then he has to go. But I mean, it's definitely to Palace's advantage. I mean, Hull have got some okay home games left, maybe, but. I mean, they're going to have to sort of play better than they have for any stage this season to stay up.
It's just the ones above them aren't, look as though they're
not hopeless,
pick up
are
points.
They? It's going to take sort of season best form from one of them to get out of it. I don't see it.
Okay, 4 o'clock. No relegation worries for Arsenal and Man City, but plenty of worries for Wenger. He's massively under the cosh. So this will be an amazing game. This is really so much riding on this. Man City have only won 1 of their last 6 Premier League meetings against Arsenal, fun enough, and that came earlier this season. I guess, though, that they're favourites to go to the Emirates and win, aren't they, Ed?
Yeah, so Arsenal are 2-1, the draw is 5-2, and City are 13-10. Just on what you said there on Wenger being under the cosh, he's now like 2-5 to actually stay at Arsenal. We're taking max bets on it as well. Like it looks like I don't know, a new contract is in the. Or he's on the cusp of signing.
When you say max bets, do you mean bets from people who know the answer, basically?
Well, like they're trying to get as much on as possible, like, you know what I mean. So that's like obviously there's people.
It's been a
there's
rumour
people
for
out there
a while
with more knowledge on it
signed. I mean, there are people out there that believe it was signed a long time ago. So.
What's that thing? Well, it hasn't got a very cryptic name. It's Arsenal TV, isn't it? I mean, just that when he signs is just going to be absolutely superb, isn't it? I love it. Okay, so James, Arsenal fan and recent convert to the Wenger out campaign.
I've backed the wrong horse here, haven't I?
Did you fund the plane?
No, he's got a little banner behind a punt in Oxford in one of the canals. He's doing it in a slightly more civilised manner. What do you think is going to happen here, James? Have you got the season ticket for it?
I am going to this game, yeah. And actually, having predicted a goal fest when Middlesbrough were playing earlier, I'm going for under 2.5 in this one. I think it will be a tight game. I I can't go into it with a great deal of confidence from an Arsenal perspective, particularly with Sanchez having had another gruelling trip home for the World Cup qualifiers. On the other hand, Aguero, I think, played 40 minutes in Bolivia, which must be the equivalent of some kind of Ironman triathlon, I think. So you've got star players who've had an exhausting week or so. And Arsenal actually defend pretty well at home. I mean, the first game was a 4-3 defeat to Liverpool when centre-backs were Rob Holding and Callum Chambers, which that's one for your end-of-season football quiz.
So
And in 12 subsequent home games in the league, they've conceded 9 goals. So I think it will be tight, and I could see City nicking it, but I think under 2.5 goals is the bet. I think odds against.
Okie doke, Mark?
No, I like City to win this one. I mean, Arsenal lost 4 of their last 5 now. I mean, okay, Chelsea and Liverpool are more forgivable, but Watford and West Brom, I mean, those 2 performances were horrendous for different reasons. I mean, at West
Palace
Brom,
beat them too.
Yeah, I mean, but to not know what's coming with the set pieces from a Tony Pulis team, it's the only way they can score. If you defend well against them, you'll win the game. I mean, just amaze me. Although you sort of Wenger out brigade will say you shouldn't be amazed because it's been the same for a long time in terms of sort of preparation and planning. I mean, Man City haven't had a clean sheet against anybody else in the top 7 this season, but I look at a lot of their performances and I still think they're the best team in the Premier League. The only shame about this game is that it's ruined the price on Man City to win the FA Cup semi between the 2 teams, because I think bookmakers have realised that they got those opening quotes all wrong. If you have a look, City have been shortening up for the FA Cup on the back of the prices they've done for the Emirates game. I think that there's quite a big difference between these 2 teams. I think City will show that at the Emirates.
City all the way for Lango, and under 2.5 for James. What prices are they, Ed?
Under 2.5 is 5-4, and City are 13-10.
What do you think here, Ed?
Yeah, I'd actually disagree with both of them here, but I suppose we need a bit of that. Ozil is expected to return anyway. That's some good news. Cech is now confirmed as out. De Bruyne is a doubt for City as well. I mean, historically, Arsenal have only lost 1 of 19 against City at home. The last 7 games have produced 3.86 goals per game. So I don't know. I hear James' points there about the 2 lads had grueling trips there away.
But you think he's talking absolute bollocks?
I don't know. They should be recovered by then. I don't know. Hopefully, anyway.
They're not going economy, are they? They'll be turning left when they get on that
private
plane.
jets and all that. Yeah, I just reckon City are way too short here. I think they're worth taking on. I'm actually going to dabble on Arsenal and over 2.5 at 16-5. I won't be going mad on it, but I just think City look too short to me.
There you go. That was no help. The last 5 minutes of your life, was it? The lads have all disagreed with each other, but all in a very elegant, persuasive fashion. Okay, chaps, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for listening. Don't forget the competition. If you know who scored England's first goal against Lithuania on Sunday, just tweet the name of the scorer with the hashtag Postcast and you could win a free £25 or €25 bet with Paddy Power. We are back next Thursday. Meanwhile, if you like us, do please go and rate the Postcasts and subscribe on iTunes. Back next Thursday.
Check out Paddy's new Kicker feature. If you fancy your team to run riot, add a kicker to your bet. And if your team win big, you win bigger. Paddy Power, you beauty!